Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm very excited today to be joined by the legendary Rhonda Shear. Welcome.
That's so sweet. Thank you. I love being legendary.
Oh,
Gosh, I've
yes.
been around a long time. I'm like a bat, still hanging out there, still working, and actually getting back into acting even more, which is really exciting for me.
Very exciting. Yes. Well, thank you. I think you've deserved that legendary status. Thank you so much for chatting
Thank
with me. So
you.
let's see. I'm going to do a quick introduction. So you hosted Up All Night, USA Up All Night for 9 years. You
Yes.
also have had a very impressive acting career. You were in Spaceballs and countless TV shows, including Cheers, Full House, Married with Children, Dallas, The Dukes of Hazzard, Three's Company, The A-Team, Chips, Happy Days, and I think I caught them all, just to name a
Yeah.
few.
There's a ton more, but they're all
Ton
over the
more.
place. Like
That's
and
awesome.
a ton of talk shows. Yeah, I've definitely had a very eclectic career for sure.
Yes, so
But
you
I like that.
hosted exactly. So you hosted USA Up All Night, then you had a talk show host, you had a very successful stand-up career as
Thank
well,
you.
and you launched a intimate apparel line that includes the Ah Bra, and that was called
Yes.
Sheer Enterprises. Wow,
Yes.
I'm sure I missed a lot of things,
No,
but
you're doing great. I've done a
I'm
lot.
doing great. The resume is beyond impressive. And you wrote a book. I've got it right here, Up All Night. Um, Fantastic. And I've got to read this
Thank
one
you.
thing. So in your book, in the introduction, you refer to yourself as a beauty queen, a candidate for public office, a model, actress, comedian, dancer, hostess, businesswoman, designer, philanthropist, political operator, mentor, and diva all at once. I had to read through all of those. And that brings me to my very first question. So, at what point in your career did you realize that you wanted to be a part of the film industry, whether it was acting, modeling, comedy? Basically, at what point did you think, I'm going to take on the world?
Well, I don't know if I thought about taking on the world, but definitely really young because I started off
Mhm.
in dancing school. I mean, I was a little dancing school dancer, and I
Yes.
wanted to be a choreographer at a pretty young age, and so I wanted to go to college for that. But even before that, I wanted to win a pageant called Miss Dance of Louisiana, which led to Miss Dance of America. So that's what kind of got me into pageants, and then the pageants got me into doing television commercials. And then even younger, I did a couple of films locally because I had an agent.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure that the very first film that I ever did just gave me the bug. So I have to say I didn't think that I was moving to LA. And that wasn't in
Right.
my brain, or New York. I thought I would just stay in New Orleans and act. But then when I was Miss Louisiana, I was sent out to LA to do an ad for a jewelry company. It was part of fulfilling my Miss Louisiana duty for the Miss USA pageant. And when I got there and I did the ad, it was like a print ad. Um, the woman who was the publicist for the Sarah Coventry jewelry, which is no longer around, her husband, or rather, the husband was the publicist. The wife was the casting director for Happy Days. And I was in college at the time. I was actually just I think I was in my junior year then, or sophomore year. And all of a sudden she said, I think you'd be really great. We have a part coming up this week on Happy Days. I think you should audition for it while you're in town. I was just visiting LA just to do this print thing, which
Yeah.
was cool in itself. And I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
oh
Of
my
course.
God, I'm going to audition for Happy Days. Well, that was kind of an earlier Happy Days because I mean I still had 2 more years of school and then another year before I even got back out to LA. But long story short, I auditioned with Henry Winkler and Ron Howard. Like they were it's usually you audition with a casting director. Usually you don't audition with the stars, but I auditioned with both of them, and I was like,
So all
like
of a sudden you're just in a room with these stars. You're like, how did this happen?
and I did I was definitely nervous. I'm sure my nerves showed. I
Mhm.
didn't get the part. And
Mhm.
then 3 or 4 years later when I went, that was in my mind. That was it. Once I did that and was in that room
Mhm.
auditioning for a real TV show, all my dreams that were like either local or local theater became very real. And it was like all I wanted to do was get back to LA. But I had to finish college, per my parents. And then I ended up running for public office. I won't go into that, it's too long, but I ran for public office in New Orleans. That took
Yes.
another year. I didn't win, but I almost won. But then I finally got to LA. And then within my first year, I did get back onto Happy Days. So
Hmm.
it's definitely just full circle and very cool. And I'm
Yeah.
still in touch with Donnie Most, and it's kind of cool. It's definitely sometimes the first thing you ever do is like really important, and especially the
Hmm.
connections you
Hmm.
make. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the bug that got me out to LA though, was auditioning for Happy Days and then knowing I had to go back and finish school. But my mind was like, that's it, I got to get back here.
Yes. And did you think if I can get back there, I could do a better audition than I did
Oh yeah.
initially for Happy
Oh
Days?
yeah. And what I wanted,
Yeah.
and it's really funny because what I've always wanted was to be on a
Hmm.
sitcom. I guess because I was a child of that era, growing up with shows like,
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
Happy Days
Yeah.
was on the air when I was still growing up and in, high school
Yes.
into college. It was on a long time. But also I grew up watching Bewitched and, a lot of
Hmm.
these old, even the older shows. And I loved the genre of
Yeah.
sitcoms. And I love comedy. And even though if anything, I was more of a shy kid, but I'd push myself. And sometimes when I push myself and I would crack
Hmm.
jokes, or not jokes, but just be funny. It was also my defense mechanism against guys making passes back then. And I used it all the way, not only as a young person in New Orleans, where I,
Yes.
I was born and raised, but into my LA years, definitely prior to Me Too, cracking jokes, it was very
Mhm.
off-putting to I got to keeping a guy turned on, so I turned them off pretty quickly. So but then it got me
Worked in
into
your
I
favor.
loved I
Yes.
loved comedy, and I got into started taking improv classes, and then got into met a young comic, and we started doing an act together, and that got me into doing stand-up, and one thing led to another. I loved comedy, and still to this day it's my favorite thing to do. And comics are usually very good
Hmm.
at theatrical acting. There's a lot of people that can't do comedy, but for me, it's just easy. I don't know if it just comes easy.
Yes, transfers well to acting.
Mhm.
So let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about USA Up All Night. Did you ever imagine that you would become a fan favorite host of late night B movies? And what was it? What was the progression like? So starting out, what was it like taking on
Well,
the host role, and then
yeah.
what was the evolution of
Well,
that?
it
I guess
definitely
I would
came
say.
out of nowhere, except that I did have an audition for a VH1 host, but that
Ah,
wasn't the same thing, but
okay.
that did come along around the same time.
Mhm.
And that was the only, and I liked hosting. I mean, I love, interviewing people, but
Yes.
the the Up All Night audition came around really kind of out of left field. So I was with a management company. It was Dick Clark. Dick Clark
Oh,
Productions
okay.
had a
Yeah.
management wing. I don't know if they still do, but um, my manager knew Tim Conway Jr., which is Tim Conway's son,
Yeah.
was the producer and director of Up All Night when Caroline Schlitt was on. Like I
Mhm.
think she came on the year after Gilbert. I think Gilbert and she started I think Gilbert started in 89 and she might have started in 90 and then I started in 91. I'm not sure if she was on for 2 years and 1 year before me.
Okay.
I looked at Caroline. I thought she was really good, but USA Network was looking for something different. They were looking for overtly sexy, but they didn't say, So
Mhm.
anyway, I got the audition through my manager, but I went in and there was a lot of women who were auditioning, and they were auditioning like full out, like as though they were auditioning for a news job. So they were all wearing like, back
Yeah.
then women.
Professional suits
Yeah, I mean
and
now they
business
don't do
suits.
that
Yeah.
anymore, but it
Yeah.
used to be that your newscasters dressed up in suits and such. So they were all
Right.
dressed like that, and I guess I might have had a little inside info because my manager knew Tim Conway and knew that unfortunately they were going to replace Caroline Schlitt, who I didn't know at all. Or I never met Caroline, but they
Okay.
knew that they were looking for kind of they were looking
Something
for a
different.
different,
Sure.
something
Mhm.
different. I mean, they didn't really
Mhm.
tell me, but I think that they kind of gave me a heads up on sexy. And before that, I kept trying to play against sexy and kept trying to play girl next door. And I would never
Yes.
get the girl next door roles. I would just always get the sexy or bimbo, whatever. So, I just wanted to get this regular
Yes.
gig.
Yes. You're like, I'm going to
And
own this. I'm going to
I
own
wanted
it.
to just own it. And I was just,
Yeah.
I hadn't gotten that sitcom yet. And I'm like, I'm just gonna, at this point, you kind of feel like I was doing stand up then. And so that gave me a
Mhm.
lot of courage. And I just felt like I'm going to just do something that on my own. And I went into the audition with this really low cut dress. And I think I had a blow dryer or something in my hand, or some hair utensil in my hand. And I
Yes.
started playing with my hair and doing it during the audition. And I just had these guys from New York laughing. I don't know. I always feel like I got cast out of New York. So Hillary Schachter and a guy named Steve Fetterman, and they were the
Mhm.
big wigs, But I auditioned with them, and then it took 3 months before I heard anything. 3 months. So they
Mhm.
kept going. I don't know why it took so long, but every now and then I would hear, oh,
Any
things still look good, things still look good. But I'm like, wow, I don't know. Usually you hear a little faster than this.
faster than that? Yeah. Did you
And then
start to
I'll
move on? Like, oh, it's not
Right.
happening, or
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
one morning I got the call saying, "Yeah, we want you." And I was like thrilled. And but then the kind of
That's
sad part
amazing.
about it, the
Hmm.
kind of sad part, and I always felt bad. I didn't get to work with him, and it was they let Tim Conway Jr. go too. He's brilliant. He's still producing. And I got to meet him,
Oh
but I
yeah.
never got to work with him. And they brought in a guy named Tommy Lynch, and Tommy produced a lot of children's shows. But after Tommy, they brought in like seven more people. And I literally worked with a new producer every year. I don't know why. I think my shows were all great, but if you watch the progression from 91 to
Yes.
99, you'll see a big difference. If you really were a fan of the show, you'll see how they progress. And then eventually they moved the show to New York. And so they gave me a
Yes.
choice. They said, either you move to New York with us or we're going to have to replace you. And so I said, no, no. I mean, the ratings were great. So I didn't move to New York, but what they do, they then save them so much
You
money.
co-located, right?
And
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
we would just crank out like four shows in a I don't know, a few days, pretty fast, like in a
Yes.
week.
Yeah.
So I'd fly there about every 3 weeks or 4 weeks and crank out like a month's worth of shows.
Yeah.
Before
Oh, that's
that, every
awesome.
week
Mhm.
in LA we would do a new show, and so we were the only show on literally every. We never took a hiatus. We were on every week.
Yes, every week. So I understand that the management, let's say at USA, wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to your show, and you were able to push the envelope in multiple ways and so, kind of do like a tongue in cheek and have fun with it. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Oh yeah,
How
but
you?
I think
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
Gilbert's producer. He had pretty much the same producer, Marty Bike, who I ended up having Marty as well in my New York years. A
Mhm.
couple of the years Marty produced, and he's great. I have more appreciation for Marty's work now than I did when I was in it because it was
Okay.
so Gilbert-esque, and I felt like, oh my God, you're taking this sexy character that I created and you're making me do weird things. But when I look back on his
Mhm.
humor, it was very smart, very New York, and we're friendly, and I love it. And I'll definitely have him on my podcast starting May 23rd. But anyway,
Very
so
exciting.
we actually really got to make fun of the network a lot, kind of like when Letterman was making fun of NBC at the time. And so we would just do these out and out. We would talk about management by name. I mean, we weren't obviously horrible, but we would kid about things. We'd kid about, the budget. Um, I started
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
all these foot fetish fan mail, and so we played
Oh
into
my
that instead of
gosh.
playing against it. We played into it. We would do food smashing shows, and it was just we really had fun being free. And I
Sounds
mean,
like it was fun. Mhm.
I can't think of any time that we got called down on not doing something. I'm sure that they would like look at the first 5 minutes and never finish watching the whole
The
show.
rest of it,
So
yes. Yes.
but in the meantime, we were this cash cow, and we were
Yeah.
bringing in so much money through Snickers and Budweiser and like these
Oh boy.
major Snapple.
Yeah.
They had me the the people. What do you call the people who the advertising people at USA Network, account executives, would ask
Yes.
me to go out on meetings, and I would meet with the Budweiser people. I mean, it was like crazy. And we did a lot of live commercials, and we did a lot
Yes.
of things with commercials, and they would do all
Hmm.
kinds of like giveaways and trips and being on the set of the network. It was kind of like what's going on now with TikTok in a longer form. I mean, it was more raw, and I think television's getting back to that, or I should say streaming and
In some ways.
social media is
Yeah.
getting back to we really play now. we were definitely scripted, and we always
Hmm.
had a theme. It was always a script. The only time that we weren't as scripted, even though there would be a theme, is if we were covering something like we would cover Broadway shows, or the opening of a Broadway show, or the opening of some music festival, or we went to Chiller Theater before, so when we were on the fly when interviewing people, sometimes we were lightly scripted and we just throw back to the movie, but usually we would have a theme. And
Hmm.
I'm getting ready to do my first reboot of Up All Night, which in the beginning we will air on YouTube, but we will certainly
Very exciting.
look for a home for it. But our very
Yes.
first official one we're doing this coming weekend at FrankenCon, and
Awesome.
it's in Knoxville. And so I'm excited about it because I know Joe Bob Briggs will be there, and hopefully, we don't know who we're going to get. We have a list of the celebrities, and hopefully, I'll get a few interviews. But there's a theme that runs through it, so it's lightly
Hmm.
scripted. And the first movie is, which is killing me, is a film that I starred in called Basic Training.
Oh, nice. That's a perfect one to start with.
So
You'll have to give me your YouTube channel. I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it in the
yes, because
description, and
we do have
that's amazing.
Rhonda Shear TV. You can subscribe, and
Hmm.
it should bring you there for sure. But I will definitely be putting all of those goodies up. Especially, I mean, we'll be getting social media, but I do have my own channel called Rhonda Shear
Yes.
TV right now on
Yes,
YouTube. I
exactly.
don't know if
Yes.
it's that
I
easy to
have.
get to, but you got to
No,
go
it
look.
is. I've seen it. I believe I am subscribed to it, and I've watched some of the videos. It's very nice that you have some of the older the
Yes, the
up all night
clips.
shows are on there, all the clips without the movies, of
We keep
course. But
putting them up because we really want a lot of those were just on tapes, and I wanted
Mhm.
to save videotapes. So I'm the only person who has the whole library. I might be missing about 20 from all those years on the network. So we keep, I don't, obviously I
Oh,
can't
but
air the
you
films.
have them all. Yeah, not the films. Right, right. But I was just watching one the other night. I think it was the Catalina Island one.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
it's interesting to see all the clips together, right, from beginning to
Yeah.
end without the movies in
Well,
between.
because there's
Um,
sometimes we filled 45 minutes, sometimes we filled 12 minutes. It depended on how much they cut
it
out of the
just
films.
Yes. Oh, okay. So you had like a goal, right? You have to 40 minutes to fill in this case. Was that kind of
Basically, it was like how much TNA they cut out. If there was a lot of
of
cursing
the
and
movies?
language, or if the film was a short film, we got to
Yeah.
do more sketches. If the film, didn't have that much to cut out, then I would only fill. We aired three films, two that I was on air for.
Yes.
The
Hmm.
third one went into the middle of the night, and I just did voiceovers for that.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Okay.
it was a great run, and it really, and who knew that it would end up defining me? And the really
Mhm.
weird thing is that here I was, I spent a lot of time in intimate apparel by my choice because they
Yes.
wanted the show to be sexy and hold the attention through these movies and hold everybody's attention to the commercials. I mean, let's face it, it's about holding everybody's attention to the commercials so everybody buys, the
Of
Snapple or
course.
whatever.
Yes.
So then I end up in the intimate apparel business. I mean, that was not like pre-planned. So
It
I
just
feel like
happened.
it happened. It ended up happening, but I love it. I love costuming. I love designing, and I always did.
Yes.
Did have a love for that. But it's kind of funny how it all came together. And then my stand-up comedy background gave me the
Hmm.
ability to sell on Home Shopping Network because I never had a sales background. I never worked as a waitress. I mean, I had other jobs, but never in sales, where a lot of actors do end up in sales, as the job that they
Hmm.
end up using to their big break. And but I never
Yes.
sold anything prior to that, never worked in a boutique or anything. So I feel like that stand-up improv kind of helped me to sell. And I'm just myself, but I believe in my product. So I never took a
Yes.
sales
Yes.
course. I'm just, just
You're
me.
just honest, and yeah, you get out there, and can you talk a little bit more about Sheer Enterprises and the Ahh Bra and the
Sure.
huge success that has
Well,
been?
and I have to give that credit to my husband. But anyway,
Of course, yes.
I never married until my 40s. And I ended up reuniting with my junior high school sweetheart that I met when I was 12. and we
Mhm.
dated through high school. And then he got jealous because I got popular, and we broke up. And then he came back to get me when I was
The usual
20.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he came back to see me at 21. He had met his future wife then. And I wouldn't even, I was literally on my way to LA. I mean, literally, like the next couple of weeks, I was moving to LA. I'm like, I don't want to see you. So I didn't even see him. He had brought a Playboy magazine that I had done in 1979 with all my clothes on for me to sign for his father. So I messed with him. I didn't come out of the back. I was in my bedroom. My mother brought it back and I signed to my future in-laws. So he kept that magazine until his ex-wife threw it away. He was
Oh
very
no.
devastated. Yeah, he was devastated over
Oh
that.
my gosh. Yeah,
And then
that's too
I
bad.
did a couple more layouts in Playboy that he saw through the years. So he knew what I was doing and was watching me on air. I never knew what he was
Mhm.
doing other than one time running into his parents and then at an airport. And I knew he was married and he had two kids, but that was it. Anyway, but
Yes.
I always held a torch for him because he was my first kiss. And I would talk about my first boyfriend here and there. And so anyway, story short, we got together through classmates.com, did not expect to marry him, just wanted to mess with his head, and we eloped in 17 days. It's
That's
after dating
fantastic.
like moguls and Glenn Fry from the Eagles and all these famous people, I ended up with my first love.
Yes, yes. Well, the
So
timing
it's
was
just
right, right? It wasn't
timing.
right when you were 21, it wasn't right, but then
It
in
was
your
not right,
40s,
but definitely it
yes.
was right. And he was a businessman. I was kind of tired. I was mad at the boyfriend that I had in LA. I'm like, I'm over these LA guys, blah, blah, blah. They spent more time in the front of the mirror than me. And anyway, Van was a businessman. Anyway, we both ended up,
Mhm.
we
You
did very well.
co-founded it together, right? The
Yeah,
Sheer
we did very
Enterprises,
well on
yes.
our own. But when we got
Hmm.
together, both financially, we both did, when, and it's in the book, we went below
Hmm.
zero. We
Yes.
ended up both having to file for bankruptcy, and which was so sad because we're workaholics. But I went through my money. He had divorce. Anyway, just stuff,
Mhm.
life
Rough
stuff.
times. Yes,
And
sure. Happens to
my
everyone.
book talks about that you
Hmm.
can find love, in your 40s. You can start a new career in your 40s. That's what we did. So we heard of this opportunity, put together a packet, sent it to Home Shopping Network, and not thinking it would become my career, we thought, well, anything to get us through to the next thing that we wanted to work together. He was living in Louisiana, I was living in LA.
Yeah.
We moved obviously to the same place. So we were just trying to find something where we could work together. And lo and behold, this ended up being an opportunity. And in the beginning, no one would finance us. Banks wouldn't talk to us. I was an actress. He was in a whole other business, but we kept putting our own little dollars back into it. And then
Hmm.
finally, we produced this bra called the Ah Bra. I worked on it and basically invented it, created it, and it kept doing really well on HSN. I didn't
Yes.
notice that, but my husband was he was counting the dollars. I was just happy to be on TV. And he came up with the idea for doing an infomercial on it. And there's a lot of infomercial companies in
Hmm.
this area where we live in Florida, but we didn't use them. We went to another company out of Canada. So we financially split it instead of a lot of times these infomercial people give you a little piece of it, just like even on Shark Tank. Like basically
Yes.
you Shark Tank, or even if you don't win it, they own you. Like we didn't want that to happen. So we split 50-50 these people and I mean literally, and then we walked away, it was clean. But it ended up just killing other infomercials and just becoming this worldwide sensation in 35 countries, selling like 35,
Huge.
40
Yeah.
million
It was
bras.
immense. Yep.
It was just timing. The bra was really good. It's a comfortable bra. It's still we've done thousands of SKUs at this point, but to
Yes.
this day, the original Ah Bra is still our number one bra. So we still
Yes.
produce it, which is
Still, of
insane.
course. Yeah. If it's working,
It's
keep it. And you were on the Today Show promoting it
I
as
was
well.
on the
So
Today Show with it.
that's awesome.
That
Yeah.
and a few other products, but the opera always does well. I guess that's what you're known for. That's what you're known for. But literally, we have so many products, and
Mhm.
I love doing that as well. So, and we continue doing that, and now we're HSN is now selling on TikTok, and we're going to be selling on TikTok as well. There's just so many
That's fantastic.
ways now.
Yeah.
It's so funny because
Mhm.
when we first got into the business, I told my husband, I just want to be in Bloomingdale's or Neiman Marcus or and he was always like direct to consumer kind of thought. And now, full circle, that's basically the way to shop is no
Yes.
one, no, I mean, the stores
Yeah.
are basically
It's
marketing tools.
evolved. Exactly. That's how it's evolved. Let's see. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I do have some fewer questions for
Okay.
you, but I do want to ask about all of the TV shows that you were on. In your book, you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you had on Happy Days and Chips. But my question for you is, what was your favorite TV show to work on and why,
Hmm.
if you had to pick just one?
I'm trying to think I mean, other than Up All Night. I,
Of
I,
course, other than Up All Night,
I
the
actually
scripted
think,
series.
I think
Yeah.
Married with Children was my favorite.
Oh,
I
really?
loved,
Oh, it's
yeah,
awesome.
I had a cute little character, but I don't know. They were very sweet. The cast was awesome. Directing was nice. The
Mhm.
direct I can't I'm blanking on some of the producers' names. And I actually did like my time on Happy Days, which was that really goes back to the beginnings. But I did I mean I know you're referring to a couple of things that happened probably
Yes,
with
it's in
the
the book.
actors.
It's in the
No,
book if
it's
you want to
fine.
read.
I love talking about my situations. And my situation on Happy Days was which
A
was
misunderstanding, let's say. Right.
misunderstanding, I think.
Mhm. You think.
Well, according to him, it's a misunderstanding. According to me, it was very real, and that was with Henry Winkler. And
Yes. Yeah.
Henry Winkler, who was obviously the Fonz, I had done 3 or 4 shows, and they were starting to call me for little parts, here
Hmm.
and there, and without auditioning, which was super cool. And so I was doing one role, and I was Fonz's girlfriend. Didn't have many lines. I had a couple of lines, and it was very small, but I was on his arm the whole
Mhm.
episode. And anyway, the show would work Monday through Friday. You'd tape on Friday and you'd rehearse table read, and then you get up and start walking around on Tuesday, rehearsing. Wednesday, pretty much you better know your lines. Thursday is like an out and out dress rehearsal. Friday, they tape it 2 times, 3 camera
Yes.
shoots. On
Mhm.
Thursday, I ended up getting a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial national. So when you're young, and I was in my early 20s then, you want to make money, and that, you get
Yeah, it's a
residuals
big
on those.
deal. Sure. Mhm.
So I asked, oh, no, I mean, I have Happy Days, which is, oh my God, the biggest thing, of course, but I got this national commercial. What do I do? So I went to the producer and the
Yeah.
director and all the big wigs. I didn't go to Henry, he was an actor. And I said, I'm, I got this commercial, and they all said, go do it. It's fine. Henry, you've done 3 shows. You're just walking on his arm. Just do the commercial. It's fine. I did the commercial. I walked back on the set. My name was off my dressing room door. No one was
Oh
talking to me.
gosh.
I'm walking around going, "Hi, I'm Rhonda." Oh yeah, Henry had you taken off the cast. So, but he wants to see you in his dressing room. So I went to go see him in his dressing room, and
Mhm.
he sat me down. And he was a big. I mean, he was thinking of the height of Happy Days. I think that was like the last season or the second to last season. And he was like, the same thing happened to me when I was in college. I'm like, but this isn't college. This is like the real world. But I
Yes.
didn't. I
Yes.
didn't say that. I'm
You
thinking that.
didn't push
No.
back. Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, he goes, I missed the rehearsal, and then blah, blah, blah. It was theater. He goes, if you're going to take this business seriously, then you have to be serious. I'm like, but I got permission from Jerry Paris and from,
It didn't
um,
matter. So you were off
yeah,
Happy Days.
yeah.
That was it.
He literally replaced me with the girl who stood in for me and made her SAG, which is like really hard to get your Screen Actors Guild card, at least it was back then, and made her
Mhm.
SAG on the spot. And I didn't care about, I
Yeah.
mean, happy for the girl, but it devastated. And not only did it devastate me personally, because I'm not the kind of person I would have turned down the commercial. I mean, he
Mhm.
should have given me a second chance. He could have called me even and just scolded me on the phone if he felt, but they basically blackballed me from ever auditioning for Happy Days ever again. And I was never on Happy
Oh, that's
Days.
too bad.
And that meant Mork and Mindy, that meant Laverne and
Mhm.
Shirley, because I never got on any of those shows, and I would have been on all of them. And I really think it hurt
Mhm.
me in general in the
That's
sitcom
too bad.
world. And then the casting director never used me until years later. So I mean, literally till I was 30, and I was only like 23 when this happened. So it was a
For
lot of
that
years.
many years. Well,
Yeah. And
everything
Henry
happens
had
for a
Henry
reason,
turned
right? So,
someone actually called Henry's publicist when my
mhm.
book came out, because I
Yes,
it's in my book.
because it's in the
And
book. Yeah, that's how I knew about it.
he denied it. And the publicist said, well, he didn't have the power to do that. He was just an actor. I'm like, he was the biggest star. He had the power to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe he wasn't the one he had, but he's the one who spoke to me. No one else spoke to me. No one else came up to me and said, you're fired, except Henry.
Mm.
So
Well,
he and he was the one,
things happen for a reason, and
I know.
It led
I'm gonna end
and
up
oh,
running
I
into.
didn't. It seems like it's a sore spot. Maybe I
Oh
shouldn't
no,
have
no, no.
brought it up.
Oh no, it's not now.
No,
But
you're good. You've
I've
moved
never
on.
confronted him on this. But I think it would be really fun. Like he goes to a lot of autograph shows. It'd be really fun to confront him at an autograph show. And I'm starting to do the autograph shows now, so
And
I'm
see,
sure I'll run
oh,
into him.
so you have some conventions coming up, but let's talk about that in a
Yes.
moment. Why don't we go right into the viewer questions for the sake of time? Let's see. So the first question I have for you is from Matt Schmidt. He's a writer and director, and his new film called Mr. Sandman is streaming now. He
Cool.
asks, yes, very, oh, it's a great
And
film
we
too.
are looking for films, Matt, to air on Up All Night on YouTube. And a lot of directors and young producers are giving us films. So just letting anybody know who's out
Oh,
in that
cool.
genre. Yeah.
Yes, I will let him know. Yeah, yeah, excellent. And he will watch, so he will hear this.
Cool.
Let's see. So, what was your favorite what was your favorite movie? Nope, I jumped ahead. What was your experience like working with Mel Brooks on Spaceballs?
Oh, that was amazing. I only had
Mhm.
like two lines and I ended up with one line in the movie.
Yes.
Mel Brooks cast himself every role. One
Mm.
line, one word, background. It's amazing. I auditioned for the waitress in the cafe scene, the diner
Yes.
scene, and
Yep.
he loved me. He goes, "Oh, I love you. You are so good, but you are a brunette." I mean, I had dark hair then. I mean, So I said, "But
Sure.
I can wear a wig." And he goes, "No, no, no. Just show up on the set. Blah blah blah. I'll find you some lines because I really love you." And a friend of
That's
mine,
amazing.
a friend,
Yes.
I knew this guy, wanted to the guy that was the casting for him was
Mhm.
the casting director at Disney. And even though he was an older man, he was asking me out. He didn't help me. Like he never helped me get a role, but he did get me into
I see.
as that cast to that, to meet Mel Brooks.
Yep.
But he took my advice and took a lot of friends of mine, comic friends of mine, mainly male comic friends of mine, and a lot of male comic friends of mine got cast in Spaceballs, even for tiny little roles. So that made me
Ah,
really feel good.
yeah. Oh,
But
that's
yeah, it
awesome.
was really cool to
Mhm.
read from Mel Brooks himself. He was so delightful and such like a daddy, but funny, funny. And the lines he was throwing out on top of his head. I mean, they used the one, that they used where I ordered a Luna fish sandwich. But being on the
Yes.
set with him and just watching him
Mhm.
work was, oh my God, I would have killed to have done something else with him.
Mm. Oh, that's fantastic. Well,
You know,
thank you
so
for
many
that.
people
And
know
yeah,
me from that show, that film, because so many young
yeah,
people have memorized every line that with all the shows I've done, Spaceballs, they'll know Spaceballs more than anything. I love
more
it.
than
It's very
anything else.
cool.
And you had one line. Isn't that
Mhm.
fantastic?
It's great.
Matt also wants to know if you are going to be back at any New Jersey conventions anytime soon.
I am trying. I'm talking to a
Okay.
couple of agents right now, and
Mhm.
because I never had an agent. I'm talking to a couple. It's an interesting field to navigate the agent part. It's
Yes.
different. It's different than film and TV. And I told them New Jersey is definitely, I think all of my fans are in New Jersey. And I even have
Mm.
I'm starting to dabble in stand up again. And my agent wants to book me in New Jersey clubs and New York clubs. I am going to be going to Philadelphia
Awesome.
quite a bit because of HSN is moving to Philadelphia. So I'll be there at least 6 times a year. So we're going to try to do shows and just while we're there.
Time it right, right, right. Excellent. And if
So
you ever come up to Massachusetts, let me know.
I will let you know. I used to work in Boston all the time, but I loved it.
Mhm.
Loved the clubs there. But I think as my stand up starts to grow again and I start bringing out my pajama party show, all female show, I do think that I would have loved to have done Chiller Theater, which I covered on Up All Night years ago, but maybe next year. So
Yes.
if you talk to any of these people, please let them know that Rhonda is available.
Absolutely. Yes,
And
absolutely.
what we'll do is, if they allow us to, is we will do
Mhm.
an up all night from the convention and promote everything.
That would be so cool. Oh my God, very
Yeah.
exciting. I hope it happens. Count me
Mhm.
in. Um, let's see. So the next one is from Tara, Daisy Tara 92. She asks, "What was your favorite movie you showed, and what was your favorite memory working with Gilbert Gottfried?"
Oh my gosh, I don't know what favorite movie. I do you know at one point I do you know at one point in time I
Mhm.
USA Network sent me every film. Every
Mhm.
single film, and I had them all on VHSs. Now I couldn't have sold them or shown them because you can't do that, obviously.
Right.
But the fact that I would have had a film library of all of those films would have been
Mm.
amazing. But I couldn't. I didn't have any place to store them. We're talking about
Yes, yes.
3 shows for all those years, three
All those
films.
movies. Yes.
But I did watch them, and I did fast forward. If I didn't watch the whole film or it was too gory, I would fast forward to them. I mean,
Mhm.
I felt like I couldn't be real. We weren't as film heavy as Gilbert was talking about the films, but that was just the way my show was written. Um,
Yes.
we did have some really great writers on the show that went on to do major things, producing Bill Maher, producing all kinds of stuff. Our writers, our young people went. I mean, we had talent that people always think it was like with a one camera. I mean, it was a 3 camera shoot and well produced,
Yeah,
unless we
for
were on
sure.
the fly. If we were on the fly, we
Mhm.
usually had 2 cameras. But it was a well produced show, even though it was not a huge budget for USA Network. But boy, we paid for a lot of the huge budget shows. So I don't know what
Yes.
I mean, we showed everything from 16 Candles to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So
Yes.
we and one of Bill Maher was in a film. Something about the jungle and the avocado of death. I can't remember. But Bill Maher himself was in which he was on one of the
That's
shows
awesome.
as he acted in it. Um,
Yes.
what was the other question? What
Well, the other question was, did you actually watch all the movies? And you sort of touched
I
upon that a
did, I
little bit.
definitely
Yeah.
fast forward to remembering them. It's not like I'm definitely more of a B. Like I like my friends' films. Richard
Hmm.
Gabai, which is more of Attack of the Party Nerds. That's
Hmm.
kind of my favorite. Y'all gonna hate this, but
Yeah. Comfort films. Yeah.
I don't love horror, and I know there's a huge resurgence in it. I I
Yes.
like it. I like thriller. I love thrillers,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I don't mind some gore, but I can't handle like massive stuff. Like even when they did the scene in the diner where the little guy's dancing and it was
In
gory and
Spaceballs.
popped
Yes.
over out of the. Even being on the set and seeing special effects freaked me out. So I just have this a queasy bone. Now, my niece,
Okay. Hmm.
who's just a few years younger than me, is a horror fanatic. Like everything that's coming out, she knows and loves. So it's like
Yes.
maybe she'll have to be on the show with me. But I do like. I do think there should be a insurgence of the little B films too, the TNA films.
Yeah, I think so. And we always need more psychological thrillers without all the gore.
Love thrillers.
Those,
Love
in
thriller.
fact,
My favorite film
mhm,
is What Lies Beneath. Is like my favorite film.
yes. Oh, it's so
And
good. They're
what is
getting a
the film?
4K release of that soon.
Love that film.
Mhm.
And what is the film with Bruce Willis when I see dead people? What's the name of
Oh,
it?
The Sixth Sense. M. Night
The,
Shyamalan. I
the
think that's how you say his last
those are
name.
two. Those are probably my two
So
favorite films.
good. I see dead people. Oh my gosh, right? Because you didn't see it coming.
Did
Great
not,
film.
and I went back and back and back, and there was not. Usually, a film has a loop in it or something that there was nothing that was left out. Like they filled in all the
Oh,
holes.
it's
It was
perfect.
just brilliant.
Yes.
So those are the
Yeah,
kind.
I
Those are my
agree.
favorite kind of films. That and comedies, but good comedies, smart
Hmm.
comedies.
Hmm. Yeah, you want a film that will stay with you and makes you think. Um, and you're emotionally invested in it. I completely hear what you're saying. All right,
Yes.
let's see. I got some more viewer questions for you. So Craig from Horror Hockey Forever asks, true or false, out of all the 300 plus episodes that you did for Up All Night, is it true that USA doesn't have any of them?
Yes. I
Yes.
am probably I know I'm the only person that has them all because I had so many producers. They might have a few from their years or even their whole year, but I
You
am the
haven't.
only human I know that has, because even I've talked to the producers and directors and they're like, you have this show, you have that show. I said, probably. There's a couple out there that I really wish maybe I wasn't sent through the years. I'm dying to find. We
Define.
keep finding
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the only one, which is really
Do
wild. They got
I
rid of it
go ahead?
for tape footage, for videotape storage. for videotape. It's so cheap. It's like, are you
Oh
kidding me?
my
You got rid of
gosh.
all, and it's so sad because Gilbert was so brilliant in so many. I mean,
Yes.
Gilbert, to have Gilbert on all those shows where he was so funny and he's such a brilliant actor. And I love working with Gilbert and he was
And
brilliant.
gone, or and so the ones you have are on VHS, right? So not, are they
VHS, and then we put them on
digitized
DVD.
now? Okay, at least
They're
yes.
all
Yeah, okay.
digitized, and then uploading them to YouTube.
Yes.
Some of them not in their entirety, but they're all on. They're all digital. At least they're all digital. So yeah.
Most of them at least. Well, hopefully the ones that you do not have will resurface or get
God, I would.
found one day.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's see. Do you have a crazy story involving working with Gilbert Gottfried? That was also from
Oh my
Craig.
God, they were all crazy. I love
They're all
Gilbert.
crazy.
Gilbert was really, truly cheap, 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 cheap. He wore basically clothes that he got for free because he loved swag. Whenever we
Mm,
would do something like at the Planet Hollywood or Universal Studios, which we did a few because they sponsored us, we were owned by
yes.
MCA.
Yeah.
They would give us like jackets, like Universal Studio jackets, and the whole thing. He's like, "When are we going to go get our swag?" And then we would be brazenly walking to the marketing people and go, "Where's our jackets?" And we'd always leave with jackets and mugs. And his wife, oh my gosh, his wife, Dara, we
Yes.
got friendly and, we've talked through the years. And Dara said when they first got married, she had to get rid of like, he would keep all the soap from hotels. He had those little bars of hotel soap for
Oh yeah,
years.
like the pre-pat, each one's individually wrapped, and yeah. Oh my
And
gosh.
when Gilbert and I worked together, they had payphones. We're talking about before cell phones, 91. I don't know when cell
Yeah,
phones
yeah,
came out,
sure.
but before I had a
Mm.
cell phone, and he would go, "Do you have a quarter for a telephone call?" I'm like, "Oh, no." And then, but I did love. I am on one of his podcasts, and I
Mhm.
recommend going to find it because they definitely have them all up. And it's so
Yes.
dirty. It's so blue. The one I was on with him, I led him down that path on purpose because he does great impressions. He did great impressions, and I started telling him about all the old guys, the comics, like oh my God, like Red Buttons and all these different guys that hit on me through the years as a comic. And so he would do his impression of those guys hitting on me. So dirty, but so funny.
So
And
funny. Oh, it
then
sounds
he did
classic.
I did during COVID, I had a show that still airs every Thursday night on 8 p.m. It's on LinkedIn, it's on TikTok, it's on everything, on Facebook.
Yes, yes.
And it's basically we call it Rhonda Shear Social Hour. And I the last interview I did with him, I got to interview him, and that was like, and
Mm,
yeah, it was really cool to do that. Gilbert was great. I mean, Gilbert was a genius. It's just that he was this funny little guy, but
mhm.
obviously he did have literally heart issues. I'm so happy that he
Yeah.
married Dara and has two of the most amazing children. His daughter is brilliant. Both of the kids are brilliant. Son
Mm.
looks and acts like him. The daughter is exquisite and doing films. And I'm very,
Oh, that's
very
so
happy
nice.
that his
Yes.
legacy will
That's
live on.
yes, of course, of course. All right. Well, that's a fantastic answer there. I do have some more questions here. This is from Mike, Mike Freeman 77. He asks, you grew up in New Orleans, the city of Erie Voodoo. Did growing up in that great city help prepare you for working in horror?
Oh my gosh. Actually, the answer to that is yes, even though
Mhm.
I've, my niece has done horror films where she's had blood. I think one time I did a blood scene in my, had the thing in the capsule in my mouth.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think they do it different ways now, but I don't know
Mhm.
whatever happened to whatever that was for. It might have been for a talk show. Um, but there's no doubt that New Orleans is creepy. Halloween is
Yeah,
creepy there.
absolutely.
The graves are creepy. I've already picked out mine. It's
Mhm.
above ground. Unfortunately, it's the weirdest thing, but if you go there, it has my husband's name on it and my name already with the
Mm.
comma, like without the dead years yet.
Oh my God, then they just fill in the year, like fill in the blank.
It's so, pardon my French, effing creepy. I'm like, did
Yes.
they really have to put our name on? Like, that's creepy.
It's
It's really
absolutely.
creepy. No, they
Did
do.
you
I
get
mean,
a
there's
picture of yourself in front of it, like
oh
pointing
yeah,
at
I
it?
do. Oh, it's so creepy because it's like above ground. Because in New Orleans,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
everything is
Go
above
ahead.
ground because
Mhm.
you're at sea level and you'll float
Yes,
away. It's
yes.
creepy. So yeah, I think with Mardi Gras and New Orleans and voodoo and all of that being of the norm to a young person, yes. And I probably should, get back into get back into some. I'm watching the Twilight films right now.
Oh, of all films. Wow. Do you like, what do you think
I'm
of
loving
those?
them.
You love it.
I'm
There's a lot of
loving them.
teen angst in those
I
movies.
know. I know. Of course there is. Well, I'm highly,
Yes,
people say from my age that they go, you look
that's
really
funny.
great. And I go, it's because I'm really immature. I really am. I think
Mm,
I love teen films.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
kind of weird.
Yeah, me too. I mean, slashers, a lot of them are all teen films too, but
They
you
are.
know, I will admit that I have seen all the Twilight movies, and I may even own a few of them. I might have to edit that out of this video. And so I have one more question from Mike. He asked, why do you think comedy and horror go so well together from your comedian background and also working in horror films?
I think they're close, believe it or not. I think there has to be a
Mhm.
sense of humor about horror. I do. I mean, or let or then you become too close to real life stuff that happens, which is like terrifying, like mass murderers and there's
Yes, like true
and so
crime. Yeah.
yeah, that do
Hmm.
crime. So I think that there's always a bit of levity in those. I mean, I can't
Hmm.
name, I can think of things, but and I think that's why they do go close. I mean, of course, some of the ones that we showed on Up All Night or
Yeah.
Up All Night, I have to go USA
Yes.
Up All
Oh,
Night.
you did it. Awesome.
Yes,
Yes.
all night, or everybody will be upset.
Of
But
course.
I feel like a lot of those definitely they were done so tongue in cheek, you know. And I mean, the slasher, there's they're such bad acting,
Yes.
and I mean, I mean, a lot of the ones that Linnea Quigley, who I love, those girls with all my heart. I mean, they're done with a comedic twist. I mean,
Oh,
Linnea is
yeah.
an hysterical
Yes.
comedian. We did a lot of comedy with her, so I think
Yeah.
those two are close. And I think
Hmm.
someone should ask me to be the cougar or MILF in one of those films. I just got finished playing two cougar
Yes.
roles. They're off. It's
Oh, I
awesome.
love it. Yeah. Oh, cool. Let me know what those are and keep me updated on your future projects because obviously I would love to do
Yeah.
this
Well, I have
again
one that's going
in
to
the
come out
future.
next year called The Big Game. Don't miss that.
Okay.
It'll be
Okay.
it'll be in
Excellent.
film festivals. And right now I've got a smaller role, but you can watch it, and it's really good. It's a cute film. Um, with Will Sasso's in it, Justina Machado's in it, um, and it's called The Throwback. So you can watch it anywhere. You can download it. It's a cute
Okay.
film. You know
Oh,
who's in
cool.
it?
I'll check it out.
Michelle Randolph is in it. Michelle Randolph just got all these breakthrough roles in all the
Yeah.
Taylor what
Uh,
like
Um,
Landman. She's the beautiful blonde in Landman,
yes. Oh,
and
cool.
also
The throwback. I'll have
the
to check that out.
Throwback. It was her first role. She went right from that to Taylor
Hmm.
Sheridan.
Hmm. That's a jump.
So if you want to see her first film before becoming a mega star overnight, that was it.
The throwback. Okay,
It's
excellent.
cute.
Well, those are, yes. Let's see. Well, those are all the viewer questions. Let's go to the this or that segment. I told you a little bit about
Okay.
this up front. I ask you two things. Usually there's only, well, there's never a right or wrong answer, and usually it's kind of fun. So the first one is movie at home or movie in the theater?
Now I'm going to be honest, movie at
Mhm.
home because we have like almost 100-foot TV screen and it's really
Oh,
good.
oh
And
my God, that's amazing.
I know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we have a microwave there and we've got the chairs that go all the way back. So I'm not going to lie. I just can't do sticky movie theaters anymore. Now, if there's some of those, there
Yes,
are a
yes.
few good ones out there that serve
Mhm.
alcohol and a glass of wine and you can lay back. I love those, but
Yes,
they're few and far
yes.
between.
Well, at least if you're at home, if you fall asleep, you don't feel guilty because you
I
can just
never fall
restart the
asleep during a
film.
film. Isn't that
Okay.
fun? I so many people do.
I've
My
had a few.
husband, yeah, I
Mhm.
don't. I don't fall asleep during films. I'm very tuned in.
Yeah. Well, that's good. The only ones that I've slept through, it's because I mentally checked out, like this movie is not good, and I'm out. Okay, keep going here. A Nightmare on Elm Street or Hellraiser?
Hellraiser.
Oh, yes, Pinhead. Oh, so good. Let's see. Would you stay up? Do you like to stay up late and sleep in, or do you go early to bed and early to rise?
Oh, so much all night. I mean, I am I'm a vampire. That's it.
Okay. Oh, that's too
I,
funny.
I definitely, I mean, I'll go to sleep. My husband will go to bed like at midnight, 11:30, and I'll get in bed,
Mhm.
and then I am literally up till 4.
Oh
So I
my
don't
gosh.
stay, I don't walk around or eat or snack. I'm happy just reading or whatever, but I am not, I am. And then when I did stand-up comedy, sometimes
Yes,
my last show would be at 1 a.m. or midnight. So
you're up late anyway.
I'm nocturnal. I'm definitely nocturnal.
Yes, yes, awesome. Let's see, The Evil Dead or Poltergeist?
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, yes, oh, that's so scary. Red or white wine if you drink wine?
Hmm. That's kind of melting into one. I think still red.
Mhm.
Still red, but I've gotten into white and I never liked white wine, but I like,
Oh, okay. I
I'm in
guess it
Florida,
depends
so
on.
in summertime you have to do white wine. I mean,
It does get hot in Florida.
but red
Yes,
wine
yes,
with a steak is
yeah.
still delicious.
Of course, of course. I'm with you on that. Let's see, cheerleader camp or class of Newcomb High?
Oh, well, I love my pal, class of
Yeah,
Newcomb High.
yeah, of course. Let's see, microwave popcorn or stove popped popcorn?
Microwave. I'm lazy.
It's just easy. It's easy,
Instant
right?
grab. And I
Even
like eating the ones and I've cracked two teeth and I keep doing it. The ones that don't pop, like I love chewing on
absolutely.
those.
Yes,
I don't know what it
absolutely.
is.
And if there's like a little crack in it where it's like almost started to
Right.
pop,
Yes.
that's
Perfect.
like finding gold at the bottom
I
of the bottle.
know. Oh,
Um,
okay. But watch your teeth because I have cracked my teeth on them.
yeah, yeah, of course. Be careful. Let's see, Assault of the Killer Bimbos or Assault of the Party Nerds?
Well, I have to say Party Nerds because my pal produced it, directed, and I was in the second one. So there
Yes,
you go.
yeah,
So
I
also
knew
the
that.
Party Nerds too, I'm in.
There you go. Yes, awesome. Let's see, physical or streaming media?
Oh, wow. Um,
It's kind of a trick or hard one to answer, I guess.
that really is. Stand-up comedy is making such a big comeback, which makes me really happy that
Mhm.
people are out and about. But I have to say, I'm just like everybody else. I could just sit on TikTok and Instagram forever. So I do like streaming. I
Mhm.
told you
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
lazy now. But
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I'm really glad to see that live after
Mhm.
COVID is like happening again.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, two more. Basket Case or 976 Evil?
Gosh, I don't even know Basket Case, so I'm.
No, it's okay.
I
Okay.
don't think I know either one of those.
I
Were those up all
I
night?
think they were on your show according to my Google search. I could be wrong, but I think they were.
Maybe 976 Evil because we were definitely the not during the era of those phone
Yeah,
things.
that was
Matter
early
of fact, I did a
90s.
phone commercial, one of those 976 numbers. So
Yes, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll say
I've
976
got
Evil.
a copy of it somewhere up here. Okay,
Okay, now I'm
perfect.
gonna have to go.
Um,
Do you know I have a list of every film somewhere? There's somewhere close by in this room that I'm in right now, but I'm
yeah,
in my
check it out.
closet. I will.
I love the chair you're sitting in looks very comfortable.
I know I should show you my other stuff. I have to give you a quick tour of my shoes.
Absolutely. Yeah, let me know if Basket Case and 976 Evil if they're on the list. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
they are, but I could be wrong. And lastly, Halloween 1978, first Halloween or Jaws?
Oh, wow. Oh man. Well, I'll have to say Jaws. It's just classic.
Of
I know
course.
because
Yeah, yeah.
I live near the water and I'm scared of
Yeah.
sharks. I'm scared of
Scared of
sharks.
sharks.
I've caught
Well,
one on a fishing line, not a big one, but a little shark.
oh, well, the
Can I
reason
show
why
you,
we ask
can
that,
I show you my
yeah, oh,
shoes?
yes, please do.
I'm gonna
Oh my
give you,
gosh, your
wait a
closet
minute.
is massive.
Let's see. Can you see my shoes? Can you see?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. These are all your shoes.
And this is my chandelier.
I love it. This is just your closet, sitting space
This is
area.
just yes. And these are like pictures of my family. I don't know if you can see
Yes,
that.
I
I'll
can.
sh-
Oh, I love it.
and this is like during up all night years. So let's see. I don't know if I should turn the phone around, but I've got some good like um Hugh Hefner, Milton Berle, um,
That's
Phyllis
unbelievable.
Phyllis Diller. So some just classic people that I have there. Yeah, this is my closet, and then you probably don't know who Olivia is. She's a famous artist.
I do
And
not.
she's a pin. You can look her up. Pinup artist. She painted me with. Can you see that?
I can. Oh my God.
And if you look up
What?
Olivia, she was the big
That's awesome.
Playboy, illustrator. And
Yes.
I mean, her work is like insanely, I mean, it's still out there. And sorry, I have to do this and get you back.
That's okay. Yes.
I'll get you
Thank
back
you
now.
for the
Okay.
tour. Wow, I didn't
Little
expect
tour.
that.
Oop, oop.
Yes.
I hope I
Oh,
didn't lose you. Wait.
no, I can hear you. I
I
think you
know.
lost video though.
I know. I'm trying to hit video.
I can put technical difficulties on the screen.
Yes, you'll have to do technical video. Wait, allow.
That's the
Trying to get you
beauty of
back. There you
there
go.
we go. And you're back.
There.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the tour. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Congratulations on everything. The book,
Thank you.
your
Thank you.
career, it's beyond impressive. You should
Thank
be
you.
very proud.
Thank
And
you.
I can't wait to hear about what you do next. There's some very exciting things
Thank
happening
you.
for you. That is so
I,
awesome.
I
Um,
thank you, Aaron. I really enjoyed it, and definitely, I love coming back and doing things. I think it doesn't matter what age you are. Is it. If you still love it, you got to keep doing it. No matter
yes, keep
if you've never acted and you want to act, go for it. Just we all have to
yeah.
go for it.
Just keep the passion and the drive
Hmm.
going. And your enthusiasm is infectious. So
Thank you.
congratulations all around.
Thank you, honey.
Well,
I appreciate
yes.
it.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, let's see. If you are watching, like and subscribe because it helps our channel. And Rhonda, one last time, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, we will. Right. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.